Welcome aboard. You join us flying a P-51-D Mustang, and our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to get this aircraft here down onto that runway there in one piece. The thing is, in DCS world, one of the hardest things to do is land an aircraft safely. The warbirds in the game are especially tricky to land. However, of the four warbirds, the Mustang is one of the easiest aircraft to handle. It is a very docile aircraft to fly, it is very forgiving, and unlike the other four warbirds, it has pitch, roll and rudder trim to help us. We can use the trim on the aircraft to reduce our workload as we get towards the runway. They can counteract the torque of the propeller or the additional pitch down caused by the gear and the flaps. I'm going to unpause this thing now and try and keep up as I talk you through it, because a lot of things do happen very quickly. First things first, we are reducing power and increasing propeller RPM, so the propeller will now act as a drag element. This creates a torque on the aircraft, which we counteract with rudder trim to try and keep the aircraft flying steady. As you can see, we are still crabbing just a little bit through the air. We add some flaps to try and slow us down, which causes a pitch down on the nose. We counteract that by adding some elevator trim to pitch the nose back up. We could counteract it with the stick, but it's easier to use the trimmer to do it. It's a lot less likely to cause a helmet fire. We are a bit off center, so we are trying to line up with the runway a bit better. We hit 150 miles an hour and it's coming close to time to lower our landing gear. Lowering the landing gear induces another pitch down moment, which we can counteract with more elevator trim to bring the nose back up. We are still going fairly quickly now, so we want to get our speed down to 100 miles an hour on touchdown. We add more flaps, which increases the drag, and we counteract that with even more nose up trim. So the aircraft is trimmed very strongly nose up to counteract this. We are using a little bit of rudder trim just to counteract the prop again, and it's clear to us that we are going to come up short, so we just add some power to extend our glide. The aircraft does react to the additional power, and we can counteract that with a little bit of trim back in the opposite direction. But it's obvious we're still falling short. We don't want to land short on this runway because there is an embankment there which we will smack into. We add a bit more power to extend the glide, and we're just using the rudder pedals to steady the aircraft rather than the trim because we are so close to the ground. Our descent rate is as low as we can get it. We are at touchdown speed of 100 miles an hour, so we just have to gently fly the aircraft onto the runway and just kiss it. We don't want to bounce and we don't want to hit anything either. She is floating around a bit, but we just ease back in the stick, we touch down, she yaws a bit to the left, we counteract with a stomp of rudder, pull the tail back down just to force it into the ground when we're certain it won't take off again, and we cut power. All we have to do now is just let the aircraft roll out. We don't touch the wheel brakes at all. If we touch the brakes at high speed, it'll cause the nose to pitch over and strike the propeller. All we have to do now is just wait for the aircraft to slow down, bring it to a stop somewhere safe, and that's it. That's all it takes to get her onto the ground.